Hello, Shabbat Shalom. Welcome to the 26th weekly Torah portion. We'll be reading Shemi Torah portion, meaning 8th. We'll be reading the Torah, will be Leviticus chapter 9 through chapter 11. The half Torah will be 2 Samuel chapter 6 and 7. From the Apostles or Gospels, we'll be reading Matthew chapter 3, verses 11 through 17. We'll be in the Scriptures, 2009 version. Leviticus chapter 9 on page 112. And on the 8th day it came to be that Moshe called Aaron and his sons and the elders of Israel. And he said to Aaron, take for yourself a young bull as a sin offering and a ram as an ascending offering, a perfect one, and bring them before Yahweh. And speak to the children of Israel, saying, take a male goat as a sin offering, and a lamb and a calf and a lamb, both a year old, perfect ones as an ascending offering, and a bull and a ram as peace offerings, to slaughter before Yahweh, and a grain offering mixed with oil, for today Yahweh shall appear to you. And they took what Moshe commanded before the tent of appointment, and all the congregation drew near, and stood before Yahweh. And Moshe said, this is the word which Yahweh commanded you to do, so that the esteem, the glory of Yahweh appears to you. And Moshe said to Aaron, go to the slaughter place and prepare for your sin offering, and prepare your sin offering and your ascending offering, and make atonement for yourself and for the people, and make the offering of the people, and make atonement for them as Yahweh has commanded. So Aaron came near to the slaughter place and slew the calf of the sin offering, which was for himself. And the sons of Aaron brought the blood to him, and he dipped his finger in the blood, and put it in the horns of the slaughter place, and poured the blood at the base of the slaughter place. And the fat and the kidneys and the appendage of the liver for the sin offering he burned on the slaughter place as Yahweh had commanded Moshe. And the flesh and the skin he burned with fire outside the camp. And he slew the ascending offering, and the sons of Aaron presented to him the blood which he sprinkled on the slaughter place all around. And they presented the ascending offering to him with its pieces and head, and he burned them on the slaughter place. And he washed the entrails and the legs and burned them with the ascending offering on the slaughter place. And he brought the people's offering, and took the goat, which was the sin offering for the people, and slew it, made it a sin offering like the first one. And he brought the ascending offering, and made it according to the right ruling. He also brought the grain offering, and filled his hand with it, and burned it on the slaughter place, besides the ascending offering of the morning. And he slew the bull and the ram as a slaughtering a peace offering, which were for the people. And Aaron's son presented to him the blood, which he sprinkled on the slaughter place all around. And the fat from the bull and the ram, the fat tail, and the covering, and the kidneys, and the appendage on the liver. And they placed the fat on the breasts, and he burned the fat on the slaughter place. But the breasts and the right thigh Aaron waved as a wave offering before Yahweh, as Moshe had commanded. Aaron then lifted up his hands toward the people and blessed them, and came down for making the sin offering and the ascending offering and the peace offering. And Moshe and Aaron went into the tent of appointment. and came out and blessed the people. And the esteem of Yahweh appeared to all, to all the people. And fire came out from before Yahweh and consumed the ascending offering and the fat on the slaughter place. And all the people saw and cried out and fell on their faces. And Nahab and Abihu, the sons of Aaron, each took his fire holder and put fire in it and put incense on it, and brought strange fire before Yahweh, which he had not commanded them. And fire came out from Yahweh and consumed them, and they died before Yahweh. And then Moshe said to Aaron, This is what Yahweh spoke, saying, By those who come near me, let me be set apart, and before all the people let me be esteemed. And Aaron was silent. And Moshe called to Mishael and to Ephraim and the sons of Uzi, the uncle of Aaron, and said to them, Come near, take your brothers from before the set-apart place out of the camp. So they came near and took them by their long shirts out of the camp, as Moshe had said. And Moshe said to Aaron and to Eleazar and to Ismar, his sons, Do not unbind your heads, nor tear your garments, lest you die, and wrath come upon all the people. But let your brothers and all the house of Israel bewail the burning which Yahweh has kindled. And do not go out of the door of the tent appointment, lest you die. For the anointing oil of Yahweh is upon you. And they did according to the word of Moshe. And Yahweh spoke to Aaron, saying, Do not drink wine or strong drink, you nor your sons with you, when you go into the tent appointment, lest you die, a law forever throughout your generations. So as to make a distinction between the set apart and the profane, and between the unclean and clean, to teach the children of Israel all the laws which Yahweh has spoken to them by the hand of Moshe. And Moshe spoke to Aaron and to Eleazar and Ismar, his sons, who were left, Take the grain offering that is left over from the offering made by fire to Yahweh, and eat it unleavened, besides the slaughter place, for it is most set apart. And you shall eat it in the set apart place, because it is yours by law, and your sons by law, of the offering made by fire to Yahweh, for so I have been commanded. And the breast of the wave offering, and the thigh of the contribution you eat in the clean place, you and your sons and your daughters with you, for they are yours by law, and your sons by law, which are given from the slaughterings of peace offering to the children of Israel, the thigh of contribution and the breast of the wave offering. They bring with the wave offering of fire made by fire, to bring us a wave offering before Yahweh. And it shall be yours and your sons with you by a law forever, as Yahweh had commanded. And Moshe diligently looked for the goat of the sin offering, and saw it was burned up. And he was wroth with Eleazar and Ismar the son of Aaron, who were left, saying, Why have you not eaten a sin offering in a set-apart place, since it is most set apart? And Elohim has given it to you to bear the crookedness of the congregation, to make atonement for them before Yahweh. See, its blood was not brought inside the tent set-apart place. You should have eaten it without fail in a set-apart place, as I have commanded. And Aaron said to Moshe, See, today they have brought their sin offering and their ascending offering before Yahweh, and matters like these have come to me. If I had eaten the sin offering today, would it have been right in the eyes of Yahweh. And when Moshe heard that, it was good in his eyes. Chapter 11. And Yahweh spoke to Moshe and to Aaron, saying to them, Speak to the children of Israel, saying, These are the living creatures which you do eat among all the beasts of the earth. Whatever has a split hoof completely divided, chewing the cud among the beasts that you do eat. Only these you do not eat among those that chew the cud, or those that has a split hoof. The camel, because it chews the cud, but does not have a split hoof, it is unclean to you. And the rabbit, because it chews the cud, but it does not have a split hoof, it is unclean to you. And the hare, because it chews the cud, but does not have a split hoof, it is unclean to you. And the pig, though it has a split hoof, completely divided, yet does not chew the cud, it is unclean to you. Their flesh you do not eat, and their carcasses you do not touch, they are unclean to you. These you do eat, are of all that are in the waters. Any one that has fins and scales in the waters, in the seas, or in the rivers, that you do eat. But all that have not fins and scales in the seas and the rivers, all that moves in the waters, or any living being which is in the waters, they are an abomination to you. They are an abomination to you. Of their flesh you do not eat, and their carcasses you abominate. All that you have, and all that have not fins or scales in the waters, are abomination to you. And these you do among the birds. They are not eaten. They are an abomination: the eagle, and the vulture, and the black vulture, and the hawk, and the falcon after its kind, every raven after its kind, and the ostrich, and the nighthawk, and the seagull, and the hawk after its kind. The little owl, and the fisher owl, and the great owl, and the white owl, and the pelican, and the carrion vulture, the stork, the heron after its kind, and the hoopoe, and the bat, all flying insects that creep on all fours, is an abomination to you. Only these you do eat, of every flying insect that creeps on all fours, those which have jointed legs above their feet with which to leap on the earth. These of them you do eat: the Habor locust after its kind, and the Salam locust after its kind, and the Hargal locust after its kind, and the Habag locust after its kind. All other flying insects which have 4 feet are an abomination to you. And by these you are made unclean. Anyone touching the carcass of any of them is unclean until evening. And anyone picking up part of the carcass of any of them has to wash his garments and shall be unclean until evening. Every beast that has a split hoof, not completely divided, nor does chew the cud, is unclean to you. Anyone who touches their carcasses is unclean. And whatever goes on paws among all the creatures that go on all fours, those are unclean to you. And anyone who touches their carcass is unclean until evening. And he who picks up their carcasses has to wash his garments, and shall be unclean until evening. They are unclean to you. And these are unclean to you among the creeping creatures that creep on the earth: the mole, the mouse, and the tortoise after its kind, and the gecko, and the land crocodile, and the sand reptile, and the sand lizard, and the chameleon. These are unclean to you among all that creep. Anyone who touches them when they are dead becomes unclean until evening. And whatever any of them in its dead state falls upon becomes unclean, whether it is any wooden object or garment or skin or sack, any object in which work is done. It is put in water, and it shall be unclean until evening. Then it shall be clean. Any earthen vessel into which any of them falls, whatever it is in it, becomes unclean, and you break it. Any of the food that might be eaten, on which water comes, becomes unclean. And any drink that might be drunk from it becomes unclean. And on whatever any of their carcasses falls becomes unclean. An oven or a cooking range, it is broken down. They are unclean and unclean to you. But a fountain or a well, a collection of water, is clean. But whatever touches their carcass is unclean. And when any of their carcasses falls on any planting seed which is to be sown, it is clean. But when any water is put on the seed, and any part of any such carcass falls on it, it is unclean to you. And when any of the beasts which are yours for food dies, he who touches its carcass is unclean until evening. And he who eats of its carcass has to wash his garments, and shall be unclean until evening. And he who picks up its carcass has to wash his garments, and shall be unclean until evening. And every swarming creature, the one that swarms on the earth, is an abomination. It is not clean eaten. Whatever crawls on its stomach, and whatever goes on all fours, whatever has many feet among all swarming creatures, the one swarming on the earth, those you do not eat, for they are an abomination. You do not make yourselves abominable with any swarming creature, the one swarming, and do not make yourselves unclean with them, lest you be defiled by them. For I am Yahweh your Elohim, and you shall set yourselves apart, and you shall be set apart, for I am set apart. And do not defile yourselves with the swarming creature, the one creeping the earth. For I am Yahweh, who is bringing you up out of the land of Mizraim to be your Elohim. And you shall be set apart, for I am set apart. This is the Torah of the beasts and the birds and the living beings, the creeping creatures in the waters, and every being that swarms on the earth, to make a distinction between the unclean and the clean, and between the living creature that is eaten and the living creature that is not eaten. Moving over to the half Torah portion. Second Samuel chapter 6 through 7. Sorry. Thought I had it set up. There we go. 2 Samuel chapter 6 on page 321. Now David again gathered all the chosen men of Israel, 30,000. And David rose up and went with all the people who were with him from Bali, Judah, to bring up from there the ark of Elohim, that is called by the name Yahweh of hosts, who dwells between the cherubim. And they placed the ark of Elohim on a new wagon, and brought it from the house of Abinah, which was on the hill. and Uzzah and Io, son of Abidim, were leading the new wagon. And they brought it from the house of Abidim, which was on a hill, with the ark of Elohim. And Io was walking before the ark, and David and all the house of Israel were dancing before Yahweh, with instruments of fir wood, and with lyres, and with harps, and with tambourines, and with sistrums, and with cymbals. And when they came to the threshing floor of Nachon, Gehazi reached out toward the ark of Elohim and took hold of it, for the oxen stumbled. And the wrath of Yahweh burned against Gehazi, and sovereign struck him there for the fault, and he died there by the ark of Elohim. And David was displeased because Yahweh had broken out against Gehazi, and he called the name of the place Peretz Gehazi until this day. And David was afraid of Yahweh on that day, and said, "How shall the ark of Yahweh come to me?" And David would not move the ark of Yahweh with him into the city of David. But David turned it aside to the house of Obed-Edom the Gittite. And the ark of Yahweh remained in the house of Odem the Gittite 3 new moons, 3 months. And Yahweh blessed Obed-Edom and all his house. And it is reported to sovereign David, saying, Yahweh has blessed the house of Obed-Edom and all that he has, because the ark of Elohim. David then went up and brought up the ark of Elohim from the house of Edom to the city of David with rejoicing. And it came to be, when those bearing the ark of Yahweh had gone 6 steps, that he slaughtered bulls and fatted sheep. And David danced before Yahweh with all his might. And David was wearing a linen shoulder garment. Thus David and all the house of Israel brought up the ark of Yahweh with shouting and with joy and with the voice of a shofar. And it came to be, when the ark of Yahweh came into the city of David, that Michal, the daughter of Saul, looked through the window and saw sovereign David leaping and dancing before Yahweh, and she despised him in her heart. So they brought the ark of Yahweh in, and set it in its place in the midst of the tent of David, and pitched it, and that David had pitched for it. And David brought ascending offerings before Yahweh, and peace offerings. And when David had finished bringing ascending offering and peace offerings, he blessed the people in the name of Yahweh of hosts. And he apportioned to all the people, to all the crowd, from man even to women, to each one a loaf of bread, and a measure, and a cake of raisins. And all the people left, each one to his own house. And David returned to bless his household. And Michal, the daughter of Saul, came out to meet David and said, How esteemed was the sovereign of Israel today, uncovering himself today in the eyes of the female servants of his servants, as one of the foolish ones shamelessly uncovered himself. So David said to Michal, Before Yahweh, who chose me instead of your father and all his house, commanded me to be ruler over the people of Yahweh, over Israel, so I danced before Yahweh. And I shall be even more slight than this, and shall be humble in my own eyes. But as for this female servants of whom you have spoken, by them I am esteemed. And Michal, the daughter of Saul, had no children to that day of her death. Chapter 7. We'll finish off at verse 17, right? 17, yep. And it came to be, when the sovereign was dwelling in his house, and Yahweh had given him rest from all his enemies all around. That the sovereign said to Nathan, the prophet, "See now, I am dwelling in the house of cedar, but the ark of Elohim dwells within curtains." And Nathan said to the sovereign, "Go, do all that is in your heart, for Yahweh is with you." And it came to be that night that the word of Yahweh came to Nathan, saying, "Go and say to my servant David, thus said Yahweh, would you build a house for me to dwell in? For I have not dwelt in a house since the time I brought the children of Israel up out from Mizraim, even to this day, but have moved about in tent and in a dwelling place. Wherever I walked with all the children of Israel, where I have ever spoken a word, any one of the tribes of Israel, whom I commanded to shepherd my people Israel, saying, Why have you not built me a house of cedar? And now say to my servant David, thus said Yahweh of hosts, I took you from the pasture, from following the flock, to be ruler over my people, over Israel. And I have been with you wherever you have gone, and have cut off all your enemies from before you, and have made you a great name, in the name of the great ones, you who are on the earth. And I shall appoint a place for my people Israel, and shall plant them, and they shall dwell in a place of their own, and no longer be afraid. Neither shall the children of wickedness oppress them again as the first. Even from the day I commanded rulers over my people Israel, and have caused you to rest all from your enemies. And Yahweh has declared to you that he would make you a house. Verse 12. When your days are filled and you rest with your fathers, I shall raise up your seed after you, who comes from your inward parts, and shall establish his reign. He does build a house for my name, and I shall establish the throne of his reign forever. I am to be his father, and he is my son. If he does perversely, I shall reprove him with the rod of men and with the blows of the sons of men. But my loving commitment does not turn aside from him, as I turned it aside from Saul, whom I removed from before you. And your house and your reign are to be steadfast forever before you. Your throne is established forever. According to all these words and according to all this vision, so Nathan spoke to David. Matthew chapter 3, verse 11 through 17. On page 921. I indeed immerse you in water unto repentance, but he who is coming after me is mightier than I. This is John the Immerser, John the Baptist speaking. But he who is coming after me is mightier than I, whose sandals I am not worthy to bear. He shall immerse you in the set-apart spirit and fire. His winnowing fork is in his hand, and he shall thoroughly cleanse his threshing floor, and gather his wheat into the storehouse. But the chaff he shall burn with unquenchable fire. 13. Then Yeshua came from Galilee to John at the Jordan to be immersed by him. But John was hindering him, saying, I need to be immersed by you, and you come to me? But Yeshua answering him said, Permit it now, for thus it is fitting for us to fill all righteousness. Then he permitted him. And having been immersed, Yeshua went up immediately from the water, and see, the heavens were opened, and he saw the Spirit of Elohim descending like a dove and coming upon him. And a voice out of the heavens saying, "This is my Son, the beloved, in whom I delight." Shalom, Shabbat. Make it a great day. Read your Bible. And most importantly, talk to the Father.